Yo, boys and girls, welcome back to ShiteTalk. It has been a while. I know I fucking say this every single episode now at this stage, but you might be thinking, how the fuck are you guys recording a podcast during lockdown? Well, I am here right now with the true Lily White himself, reporting live from his home.
Live from
How you doing,
quarantine.
mate? You good?
It's a brand new type of podcast here, boys and girls. We're breaking boundaries. We're keeping our 2 meters.
Oh, it's fucking more.
Beautiful thing.
A bit more than 2 meters, like.
What is it? It's probably at least 15, 20 kilometers.
Oh, it's gotta be. Anyway, we're in the middle of lockdown right now. The place has literally gone fucking mental, hasn't it? It's kind of hard to believe what we're living through at the minute.
Yeah, it's kind of mad, like you say, because like I don't know if you've seen the film going around, but it's like on Netflix. It's like, I can't think of it. It begins with C or something like that. But it's basically like what's going on now, except like 10 times worse. But it's mad to see how like a scenario from a film is kind of playing out in real life. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah, it's kind of what everyone is saying, is that it's like something from a horror movie or something. Like everyone's going mad. Everyone's fucking queuing to get into shops and shit, and like buying all the bread and shit. Like it's mad. Yeah, one thing that it's really affected, I've mentioned it before on my own channel, and it's affecting this podcast as well. We talk about football quite a lot.
yes.
What do you think? Obviously, the Premier League's been cancelled until I think the date has even been extended again. So we've no idea when it's coming back. What for you would be the ideal way to end the season?
All right, so I've thought about this like genuinely, and I think like regardless, like I don't know how it works out with relegation. I don't see like there's any fair way for what I want is, I think it's fair that you have to give Liverpool the title. I think you have to, because they've been so good this whole season. And like I know Liverpool players have come out and said like, oh, if we don't win it, fair enough, like it's not our fault, like this is just what happens. But I mean, like it would be so cruel to take it from them. And I genuinely think that like Jurgen Klopp deserves it. I think it would be a testament to what he's done at Liverpool. He won the Champions League, and now he's gone and won the Premier League quite comfortably, in truth. Like he's absolutely ruined every other title contender there was.
Yeah.
But like you said, the only thing I can't see working out is the relegation, because like, I mean, there's always going to be like the argument like, well, we had like a certain number of games left, like we could have still, pushed for it. But at the same time, I don't know. What's your idea on all of it?
Well, I made the video on it, and at the time I kind of said I would love to see them finish out the season after all this is finished. Do it during the summer, and then maybe delay the start of next season by a month or so or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way you can do it, probably the fairest way you can do it, but it's so difficult the way it is at the minute, because like if you cancel the season, obviously you'd have to give Liverpool the title. There's a lot of people talking about this kind of scenario where Liverpool win the title, nobody gets relegated, and the top two from the Championship come up, so we have a 22-team Premier League season next year. So, I mean, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. But then you have the complications of, like, the playoffs.
Like, I think you were going to say it there. Like, obviously, then that's going to affect the next season, then, isn't it? Because you're going to have, essentially, you're just going to have to make the Premier League bigger, unless you decide that you're going to relegate, like, 5 or something like that, because you're adding the 2 extras into the already bottom 3.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see.
It's a really messy situation. Like, I think you alluded to it there. There's still a certain amount of games. There's still 10, 15 games left in the season. And if you, apart from that, that's bad enough as it is. But then there's teams who, at the minute, already have games in hand. I was only looking at the Premier League table before we started recording here. Sheffield United are on 43 points. They're level with Wolves and Manchester United and have a game in hand on the two of them. So if they were to win their game in hand, they would go into the top 5, which is Champions League football, because Man City are banned. Do you know what I mean?
That's mental. Like, Sheffield United could be in the Champions League next season. Fuck me, man. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, it would be a fucking madness. Especially after me, the start of the season being like, oh yeah, Sheffield United, you know, they're fucked, like they're not coming back, like.
The prediction is on point.
Yeah, it never is. It never is. But then there's the thing with relegation as well. Aston Villa are in the relegation zone at the minute, but they have a game in hand on everyone else that's like, fucking ahead of them. It's so messy like that. I don't see any logical way they can really end the season like without anything else happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like any real way you end the season now is gonna have some like effect on either the next season or the Premier League itself. Like, you know, because like you say, anything that is done is gonna have even if you do a user say in there and like say we play into the summer, like we're gonna have to then obviously take a month away from their summer vacation or something like that, which in all seriousness, let's be honest, they probably aren't going to give two shits about. I mean, if they still get to play football, they still get to pay, you know, they get paid for it. I mean, would they really give a shit? But like you say, it just has an effect, like, so it would be interesting definitely to see how it works out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. You know, obviously you were saying the thing about footballers and their summer vacations and all that, but like they're still training at home and that at the minute, but like you could look at it in a sense that they're already on their break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it, like, because they're like, in all seriousness, like, fair enough, they might not be in like Spain or France, but fuck me, compared to how some people live, them boys live holidays every day, like, you know what I mean? Like, in like massive, decent houses, proper, like some of them have like pitches in the back, like garden, like, I mean, fuck me, if I had a pitch in my back garden, mate, I would never leave the house, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so if that was the case, then like if we were to continue the season and finish it out during the summer, then I do still think the Premier League for 2021 would be like pushed back a little bit. So I feel like I would like to see the league finish out and then start back up in like end of September max. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think as well it'd be nice to have summer football, seeing as we're not going to have like the Euros now. I think to have that kind of summer football it would be class. Like, I mean, like I always say that, like, especially in summer when the weather's class, like if you had it in like a pub or something like that, or a beer garden, you can just sit outside and just watch football in the class weather. Like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, do you know what I mean?
It makes so much sense. And especially as you were saying that we're missing out on the Euros now as well. Like, you know.
But see, yeah, this is it. Like we have to have something in between. Like, you know, we're not even gonna have Olympics. Like, there's fucking no sport this summer at all. Like, there's no like. Yeah. There's nothing.
There's nothing to look forward to.
Exactly, yeah. It's just like you have this period. Like, I know you and me are in like college and we'd be off. Like, so like we have summer and then all we have now is college. Like, there's no like, the Euros. Like, we can't even go out and make videos now because of the fucking quarantine. So we literally are just like, it's just summer, indoors or outdoors, at home, and then we just have straight back into college, which I think is shit. But hopefully things will change for the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we need that. I think we need that football after this quarantine ends, because it gets fucking. What day are we in now? Like 25 or 26? It's getting fairly depressing now at this stage.
Completely lost count.
Same. That kind of brings me into our questions. I got you guys to send me in some questions, and one of the questions that were sent in was quite simply, how are you boys dealing with quarantine so far? And how are you getting on, basically?
Quite honestly, boys, shit. No. It's weird, like, do you know, because like I said earlier, like me and like Kelly are in college, like, and like I have still exams coming up, and like probably Kelly has work he's doing as well. So for me, it's just kind of focused on getting the college stuff done, and kind of take it from there. I actually, the one thing I will say that is positive about quarantine is because I don't have as much to do, or I can't really do as much, I've got back into exercise and stuff like that. Like, I have designated times where I can say to myself and plan out my day a bit better. So I can say, like, right, I get up, I do exercise, I'll do work, and then I'll have dinner or whatever, and then I'll go exercise again or something like that, just to speed the day up or something like that. And that's the day done. And I swear, man, honestly, it feels like, it feels nice in a sense to not be as busy. but in the same token, you do miss like certain aspects, like obviously recording football videos and meeting up with you boys, just having that freedom, like to go around and do stuff. But overall, I'd say good in a sense that, you know, my mental health and all that is good from having free time, but very, very shit in the sense that I can't see certain people, and it is honestly, it's ball breaking.
Yeah, it really is. I agree with you there. So you were saying like you have college work and exercise. Is that kind of the main two ways you're spending your time at the minute? Pretty
much. Like, obviously, I will say this: YouTube will be coming back. There is a plan. Thank you, boys. Cheers everybody. Appreciate it. But there is a structure. I promise. I actually have, because of this free time, I have made a schedule. So obviously college is the top. Then once college is done, we're straight back into YouTube. I have a couple of ideas which hopefully will look good. But at the minute, exercise and college are my two main ones at the minute. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of similar enough. Like you were saying, you have exams. My exams actually got cancelled.
Oh fuck! No way.
Yeah, so the assignments that I have left for the rest of the year now are literally what's making up my total grade for the year. So happy days there. Apart from that, just kind of exercise. I still have my sprint training to do. Like, my coach is still sending me sprint training to do. And obviously I'm still bashing out videos as much as I can as well. It's just about keeping busy, like, because if you don't keep busy, you're actually going to go fucking mad. And I found that whenever I've had nothing to do, I've just gone fucking mental, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, honestly, it that's the thing, like, if you can't, like, in the lockdown, especially, if you can't find something to entertain yourself, like a lot of people think, like, or I think a lot of people thought, like, at the start of lockdown, I was like, oh, this is class, like, I get to sit in bed all day, I'll do fucking nothing. That's great for like 2 or 3 days, but after a while, that is just so hard to do, like, because, like you say, you just need a bit of structure in your life, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, but like, I feel like, I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like this lockdown, like, the days have gone so fucking fast so far. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, they shouldn't be going this fast.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't even know what day it is, boys. This could be a Monday or a Tuesday. Only for me seeing in the calendar in the bottom corner of my laptop, I know it's a Friday. I mean, fuck's sake.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know, like, that's what you mean. Like, the whole structure of everything is just completely fucking gone. Like, it's absolutely mental. It's shit. Like, realistically, it is. Like, my parents were in town shopping yesterday, and they're telling me how there was like lines upon lines to get into like Tesco, and you were telling me when you were trying to get the SD card, there was lines to get into fucking Tesco. Like,
it was horrendous. I couldn't believe it, man. Literally, like, queues going on for what seemed like miles, man. Honestly, and it's crazy. Like,
the fact that they're only letting people in, like, a certain amount of people in at a time. Like, it's, as you were saying at the start of the podcast, it's like end of the world fucking 2012 shit.
Just before we move on to the next question, Mr. Kelly, I'm going to quickly change out this onesie because I've realised that having a white chair and a white onesie on, it's making me look like I'm just a floating head. So I will clothes on. I've clothes on, everybody, so don't freak out. But the Rick and Morty onesie is coming off, okay? So everyone just relax for a second. All right, we're back. Okay, that looks a lot better.
That is a mad onesie, to be fair. I have a fucking Mario one. It's unreal. We'll move on to the questions now. I just kind of said I'd reference that other question because I felt like it was relevant. Yes. First question I've written down here is a big one, and I think it's something that we've actually covered on the channel before, or on the podcast before, and you probably know what it is.
Yeah.
I'll say it how this guy has quoted it. All right. Do you believe in the paranormal? And when are you pricks going ghost hunting?
Boss!
I feel like we've mentioned this so many times now. We're going to get to it.
Recurring theme on the channel at this point.
Yeah, I know. It will happen. It's just a matter of fucking... the summer, hopefully, is when it's going to happen. Alright? Yes. We'll say the summer.
When the lockdown is over, we're hoping that, we will have plenty of places to go. We will be checking to make sure these abandoned places aren't like coronavirus hotspots. We will be making sure it's all safe before we go.
Yeah, health comes before YouTube. I think that's fair to say.
Yes, quite a big difference there.
Right, and then the first part of the question was, do you believe in the paranormal?
Yes, to put it quite simply, yes. I've told this story, I think, to Kelly hundreds of times about the graveyard. I think we mentioned actually on this podcast the graveyard story. So if you boys haven't heard about that story, go back a few podcasts and watch that. But yeah, so basically, I've had quite a few paranormal activities, because if you don't know, I live beside a graveyard, which is fan-fucking-tastic, and we have plenty of paranormal activities. And my family is quite well, they're not like, I don't want to make them sound like they're like Ghostbusters, but we do collectively believe in the paranormal. I'll leave it at that. Yes, boys.
I've definitely become more open to it. That's my answer to that question.
You kind of have to after a while. Like you kind of start thinking more. Like it's like, I don't know. Personally, for me, like this is gonna be very like philosophical, and so get ready for this, lads. But I simply can't believe that when you die, it's like the turn off a switch. I believe there is something definitely, whether it be some sort of entity or whatever. I believe that you don't fully like die. I believe that your mechanical physical body dies. I believe that's Jack Grevach's philosophical rant for the day, boys.
Yeah, well, there's that thing, isn't it, of like energy can't be, was it like broken or destroyed or something like that?
Yeah.
So I mean, by that logic, I would say my answer to that question is also yes. So, but I'm yet to have like a paranormal experience, let's say. So, maybe when we go ghost hunting, something will happen, and it'll change my life forever. You know what I mean? Right. Next question. Oh wow, this is are your childhood dreams still a possibility?
Oh wow! Oh jeez. Right. Okay. Do you want to answer first, or do you want me to answer first?
Whatever you like. If you have a question, if you have an answer in mind, then fire away.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll start off. No, they're not. But my childhood dream, obviously, like, and I feel like it was a lot of people's dreams, was like, be a footballer and stuff like that. Because I just like, yourself, like, I just love football. But realistically, there was just no. Well, there was possible ways I could, but I just didn't have, like, I didn't get into like football until like 15. Like I didn't play like for a team until I was 15 or 16, and by then, like, it was just too, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah, there was that, and not many people know this, but another childhood dream of mine was to be like some sort of singer or in a band or something like that. Now that technically still could be possible.
We could make it, mate. We could make it.
I'm telling you, if one of us can learn an instrument, the ShiteTalk band, could be
on tour.
Could be. No, I think I'm gonna say unlikely. I'm not gonna say impossible. Fuck knows what could happen. Someone could see this and be like, "Oh, Jack, jump on a beat with us." That's not gonna happen. But just hypothetically speaking, yeah. So that's my answer, mate.
I'm kind of the same. It's kind of like I always wanted to be a footballer as well. I mean, that's not going to happen now. We all know it. What else? I mean, yeah, again, similar to you, it's something that not a lot of people probably know about. I always wanted to be like a cartoonist. Like, I used to draw like cartoons and shit in primary school, and yeah, I just kind of stopped when I got to secondary school. But like, I guess that's still a possibility if I got back into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is, like you say, nothing's impossible, boys.
So Grevach is going to be a singer. I'm going to draw cartoons for a living, there you go. Question answered. Say, I'm not asking this one. Okay, I'm not asking this one, right?
What's?
I'll say the first 3 words, okay? And then you won't want me to finish it, okay?
Okay, alright.
How many fingers?
No! Oh no! Oh Lord!
So I think for the well-being of our audience, it's probably best for me not to finish that question.
4.
Wait, what? What conspiracy theories do you believe in?
Oh, mad. Right. Interesting. I haven't been. Why was what? I don't know. I don't usually read up on too many conspiracy theories. I was very interested at the start. Now I know obviously that it's not, but I was very interested at the start of like the whole coronavirus. That the conspiracy was that it was started to like reduce China's population because it was getting out of control. I was very interested in that. Obviously, that's realistically not true, but it was an interesting one, and I kind of was like, that's a bit mad. As for other ones, I always was interested about the moon landing, because obviously, like, that's a massive one. Like, people have been talking about that. People are still talking about that, you know? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Probably those two have been the only ones I follow, like, in depth, like, you know?
Yeah. Just like all you're saying about the corona thing, obviously I don't believe it was, like, created as, like, a conspiracy or any of that shit. But one thing I did say that was interesting on Twitter, you know Blue Van Man?
Believe I've heard of him.
Basically, he tweeted out something like, there was a line from some book about, like, philosophy or some shit. And it's, like, centuries old, you know what I mean? And it basically, one line of it was, in the year 2020, a virus will come out of nowhere and then just disappear like that, basically, is what it said. And bearing in mind, this is centuries ago, and it was in some mad philosopher's book. I don't remember his name, but that's pretty mad, isn't it?
I mean, Blue Van Man has uncovered some sort of world secret there. Oh my Jesus!
It's pretty mad. Now it could be complete bollocks either, but yeah. What you're saying about the moon landing, I 100% believe that was fake.
Oh yeah.
100%, yeah.
I get what you mean. I mean,
why the fuck haven't we gone back since? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? Well, like, this is the thing. Like, I mean, like, obviously, it could be done behind closed doors and stuff like that. But again, why behind closed doors? Like, what is like?
Because the Americans wanted to be the first ones on the moon. They wanted to beat Russia to it, didn't they? That was like the initial thing.
That was the whole. It was the race to the moon. Yeah.
They wanted to like. So obviously, I think they filmed it in a studio. If you look at like the lighting and shit, like there's like shadows and stuff, and like surely that shit shouldn't be there. And it's like wind blowing the flag. Like there's no fucking wind on the moon. Come on.
Bit breezy on the moon there, boys. It's just
for me, it's complete bollocks. It's complete bollocks.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, those are kind of the big ones now. There's some other mad ones that I've heard that I won't go into, but. Yeah, like that one's the biggest one, I think, the moon landing. And I fully believe that was completely fake. Like.
Yeah.
Let me see. Ooh, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No, but I'm always very interested by the whole sleep paralysis thing. Like, I did, like, I just, out of curiosity, I did a little bit of research into, like, sleep demons and all that kind of stuff. Because, again, I was just interested to see what it was. And it sounds so fucked up, and I feel bad for people who actually have it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if any of you guys have sleep paralysis, like, honestly, fair fucks, because that shit must be, that's rough, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I had sleep paralysis, I would not sleep. Straight up, I would be like, I would sleep. Actually, I'd be too scared to sleep with a weapon, because I feel like someone would just come over and just shank me with it. Like, I just wouldn't do it.
It sounds pretty messed up, but I've never had it either. Thank fuck. But I've had some pretty fucked up dreams before.
Yeah.
There was one that I had back in like January that was like really fucking messed up, and it felt real. You know, one of them was that feel real. It wasn't sleep paralysis, but it was like it felt like a fucking real. I'll go through it, right? So basically, I was asleep, and I heard my dad calling me, say that he was going to work and dropping the kids to school or whatever. It's back in January before I went back to college, so I was still like at school or at home or whatever. So I was like, yeah, grand, okay. So as soon as I heard I literally heard the front door close, I get up out of bed, and I start like walking down the stairs. but I hear like music or someone talking in the kitchen.
Oh,
I was like,
Jesus.
what the fuck is this?
And I walk down the stairs real fucking slowly, look through one of the banisters. The kitchen door was like slightly open. It's going to sound really fucked up now. It's going to sound really fucked up. And then sitting there at the far end of the table, watching YouTube, eating cereal, was me. And then I woke up, and I was just in bed.
I don't know what to make of that. That's like fucking... Oh, that's a bit... Like, imagine like... Imagine what if that dream went on. Like, obviously, like, I feel like in those kind of dreams you can't, like, talk to yourself. But, like, if you could... Interesting to see what would happen.
It was like when I seen myself there at the far end of the table, I panicked and then woke up and I was back in bed, like, as if nothing happened. But, like, the whole thing felt so fucking real. And when I looked down at myself, it was literally like, pretend you're me, right, looking down the stairs at me. It was like I went like this, yeah?
Oh, no, fuck that. Fuck.
Mate, it was so fucked. I was, like, in a pool of sweat when I woke up, like.
Yeah, man. Also, interesting, like, this could be bullshit, I don't know if this is possible, but interesting theory I've just thought of there. What if you, in the dream, had taken the form of something else?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, by you watching you aren't actually you. You are, like, some kind of, like, obviously in a nightmare, there's obviously, like, a demon or a monster. What if you were that, watching you? Like, that's a bit fucked up, but...
Really fucked. That's really fucked.
I've just given Kelly nightmares for the rest of his life now.
Did you ever see them boys that do, like, fucking research on dreams and that kind of shit? And they say, like, oh, this dream has a meaning for this. Or, like, if you fall down the stairs in a dream, it's, like, a fear of failure or something like that. Like, I feel like I should really, like, look at it and see if there's... You seeing yourself actually means something. But it's one of those things that you don't imagine ever actually happening, like an outer body experience sort of thing. It was so fucked. It was so fucked. Have you ever had any, like, fucked up dreams like that?
Yeah, I just one just came into my head there, and again, very, very fucked up. But, like, I had a dream, and it was like some sort of zombie apocalypse, but obviously, instead of, like, full-on dead, mutilated zombies, it's like, there's, like a person, but they're just, what's the word, carnivore, like, they're, like, that kind of hungry for thing. And, I remember, in that dream, I was in, like, this corridor. It's like something from Stranger Things, like, imagine Stranger Things corridor, like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just remember this one part of it where I was with these two people, and I have no fucking clue who these two people are. Like, I've never met these two people in the dream. To this day, or maybe I have, I just can't remember them. But I remember that we were running from, like, these three that were just crawling on the floor after us. And they wouldn't stop chasing us. And we met this lad who was wounded. And for some fucked up reason, one of the people I was with picked up the wounded lad and threw him towards the three, like, zombies that were chasing us, so they would fucking eat him and we would have time to fucking escape. I shit you not, that is the most fucked up image I have ever produced in a dream, and to this day I've never had anything like that, thank fuck. But that morning I was like, I feel sick. Like, I literally woke up feeling sick. I don't know what brought it on. I don't know what happened, but yeah, that was fucked.
I bet it felt pure real as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it is, and like the fucking sound and the noise of it, like.
Oh my god! Imagine that actual, like, scenario happening in real life. Like, oh fuck that, man. This kind of ties into the first question we had about the paranormal. What is the weirdest, unexplainable thing to ever happen to you? I've mentioned this before, but I'm gonna mention it again. The weirdest thing that's ever happened to me was when I was on Halloween, and I was on my own. My sisters were at a school disco, and I was at the house on my own. Late at night, I had to let the dog out to do her business, and as I let the dog out, just randomly just heard, like, a little scream or a wail or something like that. Now, I being myself, decided, you know what? That's none of my business. I don't need to get involved in that. Someone could just be screaming out of pleasure.
No, so I was like, I'm not going to bother with that.
As I was bringing the dog in, I noticed there was a light and the light is towards where the graveyard is. Like like I've said before, I have a graveyard near my house, and the light is towards the graveyard. And I was staring at this light for ages, and I mean ages, because I was trying to figure out what the fuck it was. But I swear, like, another like little wail came, like not as loud, not like a scream, but like a wail, and then the light just goes off.
What?
That is it.
Like, I'm looking at this light, and there's a wail, and then it just goes off. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm locking every single door. I ran and grabbed the baseball bat. I was like, no fucking bastard is getting into my fucking house. But that is probably the weirdest thing that's happened. Dad has said as well that a couple of Halloweens after, when he was walking the dog, he saw a shadowy figure at the bottom of the graveyard, just literally where the graveyard, like, gravestone heads are. And he called out to them because obviously, like, what are you doing? Like, apparently that thing just stood there for ages looking back at him, didn't move, didn't flinch. Dad walked on, and apparently he's never seen or heard anything since.
Jeez. How fucking haunted a place you live in, Miller? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. My house itself isn't haunted. Everywhere around my house apparently is haunted, so...
Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Well, I think I know where we're going ghost hunting, boys.
We're camping in the graveyards.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had anything to that degree. I would say the dream I had that I was explaining in one of the previous questions was pretty weird and unexplainable. There was this other time that maybe it was just like my fucking mind playing tricks on me or whatever. It was really fucking weird. It was like I was out playing like FIFA, as you do, you know. It was a couple of years ago when FIFA was actually alright, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much what happened was I was there playing anyway, and I kept hearing like my sister behind me, like, she was like asking me to get her a drink or whatever, and I was like, oh no, I fucking can't be arsed, like, you know what I mean? I'm playing FIFA. I was such a prick. Yeah, I was like, yeah, she kept asking me, and I was like, look, will you just fucking go away? I'm trying to play FIFA here. And then I heard her go back into the sitting room. And then I was like, I went back to playing anyway. Then right in my ear, I hear her voice going, Aaron, can you get me a drink?
Fuck.
I just turned around and she wasn't there. She wasn't there.
Me, man.
I just say it's one of the... It's a bit unexplainable, alright. Like, it's just kind of like, maybe she was like hiding, maybe she like... But like the fact that she was... It felt like it was really like in there, you know what I mean? I feel like we should move things to a more lighter note. Because what I've been talking about is apocalypses and coronavirus and death and ghosts and shit. So we're going to move on to... I think you're going to know who this question is from as soon as I read it. This is a question for the True Lily White himself.
I already know who it's from. I don't even need to hear the question. I know who it's from. When it's directed straight at me, there's only one person who's asking this question. Go on, give it to me.
When is Hunger Games Part 2 gonna come out?
That is not coming out. That video was by far the biggest mistake I have ever made on this channel, for a fact. That video I regret so much. I look back on it and I was like, why did I post this? How like short for content must I have been to post that? Honestly, it just fell apart. And I remember trying to record it on the PC. It was just, everything about that video went wrong. There was so much redoing, and I couldn't remember who I had in the previous one, so I was like fucking trying to think of new characters because I couldn't remember who the fuck I had in the first one. And I think I recorded a whole session through and then realized that I hadn't actually recorded it. So the second time, I just was like, fuck this, I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking edit this and post it and leave it there. But oh my goodness, yeah. There is no Hunger Games Part 2 unless for some reason there's a massive surge for it. Then obviously I might do it. But there is going to be a Part 2 of another video on my channel. So that's all I'll say on that. But it's not Hunger Games Part 2. Alright? It's just not. It's never going to be. That video is in the bin, and it's in the bin for a reason.
I actually went onto your channel, found that video recently. It's actually coming up to the, I think the end of this month. It'll be like the 1 year anniversary since Hunger Games Part 1. Yeah. So I felt there'd be no better time to release a Part 2. Because at the end of the video as well, you were like, oh, stay tuned for part 2 coming soon. Obviously, I didn't get to record the whole thing, so that'll be coming soon.
So part 2, basically, it's not happening. Part 2, I probably do have the footage for part 2, and I probably do have it edited, but it's so dog shit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm genuinely formal apology for anyone who sat through that video for more than 30 seconds, because that was dog shit.
Question we have is, oh god, right. What is the stupidest thing you've done to attract a crush? I think you said this before, you know. I think you said this before on the Never Have I Ever video. Is that right? You like jumped off a fucking roof or something.
Yeah. So, in case you didn't see my video, boys, the stupidest thing I've ever done is I have actually jumped off a roof to impress a girl. Like, I know what you're thinking. God, he's a bit of a hard boy, isn't he, jumping off a fucking roof? What a legend. But, I'll give you the story. So basically, in my school or in my village, there's a hall, and in this hall, if you were to climb on top of the boiler, or the, whatever it's called, the tank outside, you could get onto the roof. And essentially what we did back in 6th class, because we were such absolute hard legends, was we would jump off the roof, because there's just nothing to do in my village, so we just had to entertain ourselves by jumping off roofs and almost severely injuring ourselves. But this one day, there was a few extra spectators, and Greevatch being Greevatch was like, I'm gonna go a little bit further back, I'm gonna go a little bit higher up, and I'm gonna jump off the roof. And I jumped off the roof. Little known fact, I did land this, but I severely fucked up my leg doing it. But of course, because there was the woman I was trying to impress, I played it off as if I just slipped or something. You know, it's don't worry, babe. It's just a little hamstring injury from earlier. Don't worry. It's not to do with what I did. I didn't fuck up the roof jump. Don't worry, babe.
The leg is hanging off.
I've just got a snapped leg, like my knee is in 2 different places. Don't worry, babe. It's just from earlier.
I think stupidest thing I've done, and it's just, it's really embarrassing. It's back in like primary school as well. Do you know when you used to play like football out in the? You know when you used to play football out in the yard at lunchtime, yeah, and it used to be, you'd fight till the death, to blood, sweat, and tears you'd put into them fucking.
Oh yes.
And pretty much, I used to always like pretend that I was like injured. That was just. I used to pretend I was like fucking needed a hospital. Like, it's really embarrassing. I'd be down on the ground, mate. I'd be like, and I'd have like one eye open, like looking over at them, like, help! Literally, mate, like every tackle. And I used to dive so like dramatically just to try and get their attention. And I'd be like, fuck. Yeah, it's really embarrassing. Yeah, we've got a few questions left. We're not going to get through them all, but I'll maybe ask 2 more.
2 more sounds good.
Questions, and we'll wrap it up with that, I think.
Sound.
Oh, wow. Someone is asking for a bit of relationship advice, Jack. Quite simply, they've asked, after a breakup, would you rather be alone or surrounded by friends?
Okay, so the question, is that the question, or is the question to give a relationship advice?
No, that is the question. After a breakup, would you rather be alone or surrounded by friends?
Okay, well, 100% I must say surrounded by friends, because in a breakup, I believe that if you isolate yourself, that's like the worst thing you can do. I feel like by isolating yourself, you are literally stuck with your own thoughts. So like, again, this is going to sound very deep, but if you're like, if that way of being like stuck with your own thoughts, you're constantly probably going to be thinking to yourself like, what did I do? If it's someone broke up with you and you didn't break up with them, you're probably going to be thinking like, oh, what have I done? What do I did to deserve it? Instead of fucking just sitting at home, man, just go out, just meet mates, do all that stuff, surround yourself with as many people as possible, or meet new people, man, because honestly, it is so much harder to try and isolate and try and get through it by yourself. Like, fair enough, if you don't want to talk about it to your mates, that's fine, but go out and do something with your mates and try and at least take your mind off it. I think that's the only option. I don't even think that isolating yourself or trying to be on your own is an option.
Yeah, I think that's solid advice. If I could play devil's advocate here, though, and ask, what if your friends are the type of people that could potentially make it worse? Like, you know what I mean? Like, start asking you loads of questions and, like, really start pressuring you. Obviously, like, you know, we probably, neither of us have, like, mates that are like that. But, you know, say you did have mates that are like that want to know everything. Would staying at home be a better alternative if your mates are like that, would you think? Or would you still go out with them anyway?
Do you know what, mate? I still would probably go out with them, because I feel like if even they are like that, like, if you still are able to enjoy yourself around them, like, and fair enough, like, obviously it could be upsetting, like, for them to ask you and you have to make shit up. But in all honesty, like, it could be 5 minutes of awkwardness out with your mate for what could be hours at home sitting in your room, like, just fucking worrying about what you did. Like, I still, in my opinion, I would still go meet mates and surround myself with mates. I feel like I would. Yeah. It may be a struggle, but I still think it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So keep sending your questions for more relationship advice from the true. Moving on. Right. So our final question of the day is: what is your greatest fear?
Okay, so I think my greatest fear has changed. Probably, I think I said failure was I think that's what I said last time. But I'm gonna change that, and I think it's changed to being alone. And what I mean by that is having no mates, having, like, obviously as it stands now, that's the complete opposite. Like, I have solid mates. Like, honestly, I have made really, really good mates. Like yourself, Kelly. And do you know, I just think, like, fucking, if for whatever reason now I was completely alone, I think that is genuine my greatest fear. I couldn't stand that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That and sharks.
Oh, sharks! Yeah, fuck that. Have you ever seen any of them videos on YouTube of, like, fucking near-death shark attacks on, like, GoPro footage and stuff?
Oh man,
that shit gives me anxiety.
I genuinely, like, there are some places, like, I will not go because I know they have, like, shark, like, infested waters. Like, I will not, for a fact, I will not swim in Australia. I don't care. I will not do it. I just, that is not happening, man.
I don't think my greatest fear has changed since the last time we talked about it. It's still fucking heights. Like, it just is. I hate it, man. It's so bad. I just feel so fucking helpless when I'm up there. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, flying in, like, an airplane or something, like going on holiday, that's fine. I'm grand with that. But it's actually being out there in the open. I don't think I could ever, like, go fucking. What's the fucking thing? Is it paragliding? Is that what they call it? Like, I could never do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was gonna say, like, would you, like, ever, like, jump off cliffs, like, go cliff diving or anything like that? Would you be able to do that, do you think?
I think when I get a chance to travel the world and get a little bit more adventurous, you know yourself, I think then, yeah. If I was in if me and you were to go on fucking holiday to, I don't know, wherever they fucking jump off cliffs, then, yeah, I feel like I'd do it. I feel like if I was with, like, my mates, I would do it, yeah, but if I was by myself, yeah, no.
Right, that's one for the bucket list, boys. Now we're gonna make Kelly jump off a cliff.
I feel like that's something I do need to do, though, before I do snuff it, is get over that fucking fear of heights, because I feel like it holds me back quite a lot and it needs to change. Right, so I think that's where we are going to wrap it up. We still have a few more questions to answer, so we might save that for the next day. Obviously, we're in lockdown. We're hoping to get a few of these out. This has gone really well, I think.
Big success.
Hopefully we'll get a few of these out over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, apart from that, Jack, my thanks to you once again.
No bother, sir.
My thanks to you lot for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe to ShiteTalk if you are new around here. And we will catch you later.